Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
Scream. Boy, you got that preview up there before I even could look
Welcome,
at it.
everybody, to RVing in New England. It's Wednesday night. Kind of a special show. A lot of things happening. We want to talk about streaming and the recent report from CNBC on the popularity of it. And you've got a good radio and TV background, John. Why don't you explain to our fans what it is in case they don't know what we're going to talk about tonight?
Well, you know, Bob, it's interesting that we have this conversation here because I just spent the whole day talking with professionals in the media business about the methodologies that people use to obtain their news. And for some of us in this group, probably like Walter and me and you and a lot of our viewers, we got to see the news at 6 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Okay? Or we waited until the next morning for the newspaper. Or if we didn't get the morning newspaper, we got the afternoon newspaper. So by the time you got it, it could be 24 hours old. Today, there are so many different ways that people obtain their news. And, it all emanates from the same places, but how people receive it is totally different. Who would have believed if someone said to you 5 years ago that this device would be your number one source for news, weather, traffic, entertainment, and mail? Nobody.
Nope.
That's the way it is. And this new report, ironically, coming out from CNBC, part of the network that has credibility problems. I just talked to one of their people today who said they finally split off MSNBC.
They did?
Yep. It's finally a separate company of Comcast.
So you can sell it.
Yeah, that's right, Walter Swenson. News, opinion shows these days. That's exactly right. Mr. Butler, exactly right to you as well. But, people get their news different. And you know more about that article. You read into it a little bit more deeply because I spent the day streaming news at the Karen Reed trial.
One of the items was in May, YouTube represented 12.5% of all television viewing, the highest share of any streamer to date, and its fourth consecutive monthly share increase. And probably 99% of the stuff that comes on YouTube is done on a smartphone. But it was very interesting to see the results because for the first time, streaming represented 44.8 of total TV viewership in May, total. And, if you go back 4 years ago, streaming has skyrocketed 71% in 4 years, with broadcasting cable starting to decline 21% for broadcast, 39% for cable. And everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing it. Here's something that's interesting. Today, again, at the Karen Reed show, Karen Reed trial, Karen Reed show, whatever you want to call it, you do a lot of waiting around because there was nothing to report. Like if you're reporting on a fire or a car crash or a building collapse, there's always something going on. But once the case goes to the jury, there's not much to report on. So I was sitting on the front steps of the courthouse talking with these two guys from New York that work for NBC, and we were talking about the fact that they've got these cameras that are probably $20,000, $30,000 hooked up to a satellite truck down the street that could be $500,000. And they said to me, but with that phone, you'll get the news out to your people faster than we will. And it takes us 10 people to do it. And I'm doing it myself. So
10 people and millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars. And all they do is you know what? It's so funny because it was bright sunshine today. And there's my friend Vinny Politano, not just Politan, from Court TV, who I got to meet the other day. And he's got lights on both sides of his face and a big shield above his head to, make it look like whatever. And we're standing on the step next to him, broadcasting faster than him. The way people.
It's interesting. Willie Miller is with us tonight. Willie is a streamer. He is. He's streaming stuff every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, with his RV positioning of what is it? The ranch rider. Tell me the two again that you got there, Willie. And it's hotter than hell in Tampa. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he'd even choose us over Laverne and Shirley. Well, we're better looking.
We went from Walter Cronkite in one post to Laverne and Shirley in the next post. Willie.
Yeah.
Willie
I'd rather watch you two than Walter Cronkite. And next thing you know, he's comparing us to Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah. What do you call it when a person goes from one end to the other? What do they call that?
Bipolar?
Bipolar, yeah. Speaking of
editors and producers and legal people before they can approve the news.
Right. So, Bob,
that's true.
Speaking of bipolar, that's what I did.
Huh?
That's what I did yesterday.
Polar beverage. Thank you, Willie. Columbus and River Ranch. I had a vacancy in my brain there for a minute.
Bipolar. Get that?
Yep, I got it. You see it?
Yeah. Oh, ADHD. Yeah, that's another one.
From Worcester, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. You can get it in Florida too.
Yeah, you can
get it over at Seat to Table. They have a big display at Seat and Table.
Yeah.
But let's ask our audience how they get their news. Ladies and gentlemen, do you wait for a newspaper to be delivered to your doorstep anymore? Do you wait until the 6 p.m. news? Can you stay up physically? Can you stay up for the 11 o'clock news?
Well, that was a big thing. When we were growing up, 11 o'clock news was a big thing. And then all of a sudden, Channel 56 came on with the 10 o'clock news. And everybody thought they were crazy. They come on an hour earlier, and it killed everybody. Now they got the 6 o'clock news. You can get at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. And that's to compete against the online services, because I watch news when I want to watch news.
Right.
And
you don't want to wait.
And the streaming stations, they all have it. I mean, Fox has it, CBS has it, NBC has Peacock. They've all got the streaming things. And I'll tell you, both of my daughters, who are now 47 and 43, I think maybe 48, 44, they don't have cable TV.
Nope.
And the millennials are dumb. Why pay $200 or $300 a month for that stuff? They have all these streaming channels, and they do local TV and all the streaming channels, and they get everything else that you could possibly get.
Yeah, same with my kids.
Yeah,
same thing. And we got rid of the cable.
This Swenson reads, only the Babylon pays. Well, it's good that you have a good source for your information, Walter.
Oh, he reads.
Yeah, he has that. Dante's a little bit late. How's that construction going on the new Camping World building up in Windham, Maine, Dante? It looks like a pretty significant project. It looks like they're going to tear down everything that Dan Craffey had up there and start building anew.
Well, they didn't tear down his maintenance building, though, did they?
Yeah, they're going to. Yeah, they're tearing down everything.
Maintenance building?
Huh?
The new maintenance building that's only about 5 years old?
It's probably more than that, probably about 10. But it's separated. They want to, put everything in one big building that they have it.
Yeah.
Twitter now all day. I don't get excited about Twitter and X. I don't know. Do you do much of that, John?
No.
I don't know.
But I did today.
That one.
I did today because I started doing some new stuff on some shorts on Facebook.
Yeah.
And, you take a 5-minute story and cut it into little segments. I had an 8-minute story from Billy Politan on Court TV that I ran yesterday. And then this morning at 5 a.m, I woke up and I said, you know what? I remember Vinny saying that the crowds at the Karen Reed trial, the physical number of people there, he said it's bigger than anywhere he's ever been. He said, you go to the celebrity stuff. He goes, Michael Jackson, nothing. Johnny Depp, nothing. He said, these are real people. And he said, the amazing thing is she's not a celebrity. She was an unknown before this took place.
Well, I saw a report on Fox News, and they interviewed Turtle Boy, who I didn't know till you told me about him a week ago, because I did not follow the trial at all. And they said the same thing, that he single-handedly got more people there than any of these other trials for a person who was completely unknown to everybody in the country, and it was because of the streaming videos.
Right.
What for our fans here? What streaming channels do you watch to get RV and camping related things, videos? I know Facebook dumps the reels, which are the shorts, in the middle of your feeds, and I wind up getting on those, and I'll go through 10 or 12. If you look at 90, I'll say 80%. I'm probably wrong. They're Caitlin Clark, cruise ships, fights, auto racing, but they drag you in with that little teaser, and next thing you know, you spent an hour watching it.
Yeah, well, I do a lot. I watch YouTube TV, but I just watch YouTube. If I want it, like today, I was driving into Boston at the amazing speed of 6 miles an hour because I was behind a tractor trailer crash. And I put on YouTube about how to use the Cash app and Venmo apps on shows like this. Okay, so if our subscribers, our viewers want to, want to say thank you, they can send $1, they can send $2, they can send $5, and that's the new model, because all of the people that are doing talk shows now, independent people doing talk shows on their own, they don't sell sponsorships anymore. They get money from the people that watch the show.
Well, that was one of the key points in the CNBC study. It said streaming's growth has been driven by three main factors: free ad-supported channels, the rise of YouTube, and shifts within legacy media companies to reach streaming-centric consumers. So yeah, they don't have to pay on TV because there are revenue-generating sources to support their channel, and they only report to themselves. They can do what they want and when they want. Dante says they are going to tear everything down.
I see that. Yeah, that's amazing, because that's kind of a new business.
Walter says YouTube and podcasts is where he gets his information. Good option for U.S.-based news highlights, unbiased politics with Jordan Berman. I don't know that one, Walter. I'll have to check that one.
Have you
heard of that? Have you heard of that one, Jordan Berman?
No, never heard him.
No.
Never heard. Don't know if it's a him or her.
Don't me either. Maria says Instagram. Okay. TikTok's pretty big too. It's coming along. YouTube is best. I agree with John. It's obviously, a couple of years ago we used to say YouTube was the second most popular search engine.
Yep.
I don't know. It may be number one. I don't know if it'll ever catch the company that owns them, but I find myself going there for no matter what it is. And I started listening to Lainey Wilson in my country music stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
And I went to YouTube and plugged in her name. I could have watched for the next 3 months.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely amazing. And this new kid, I don't know if you guys have caught on to this new kid, John Foster, who was the second place winner in the last American Idol.
Yeah. With the kid with the straw hat.
He's all over. He signed a one.
George Strait.
I don't know what the first place winner got, but Foster signed a $1 million contract with George Strait the next day, and George Strait's going to be managing him. But he's another one. He hasn't even started yet. He's going to be. He was at the Grand Ole Opry for one song, I think, but he's going to go on July 19th, and it's like a nonstop news thing. And I'm a news nut anyway, so it's a hell of a lot better than waiting around for the 10 o'clock news. Or
right.
Plus, you can do it on stuff that you like and that you want to search on.
Right. And the thing today, Bob, is it's on your time. You are the person who controls the time that you want to see the content.
And that's why it's so successful. Yep.
And,
No question.
it's not waiting till their schedule at 10 o'clock. And, it could be the fifth story in the cycle, in
Yep.
the block. So, Capital Talk, RVB on YouTube.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
so
Yep.
now this now I can understand this here. So he has a bot that collects topics from rvbusiness.com and sends it to me email. Is that something that you created, Walter, or is that something commercially available? That's a very interesting. I wonder if Rick Hessler. How does that bot work? I mean, I've heard of them. I know things are automated. Let me see what he says about Jordan Berman. Jordan Berman, female, and she does some good legal analysis of the stories without interjecting her own opinions. What's the name of her podcast, Walter? My own script that runs on my local server. Okay, that makes
I don't know what
sense.
that means.
Capital Talk on YouTube. Yep, that's
Big
Rick Kessler and
fan.
Sherm Goldenberg. I hadn't thought that they're on YouTube. Makes sense. If I catch them, I usually catch them when I go through the daily newsletter. Okay, I'm here, Jim Roy. Well, I'll tell you, between fixing Airstreams and retrofitting, have you seen the work he's doing? I think it's the basement. I get it mixed up because he's got a man cave somewhere in the house. But he's got the new garage for the motorcycles and the cars, and he fired the wallboard guy, finished the wallboard himself, painted the place, and got all the shelves. He's hanging stuff on the walls, and in between, he's got a yard full of Airstreams. I don't think he's going to come off the air for a couple, 3 years.
No, 3 years. Got all that business.
But talk a little bit about Turtle Boy, and I'm going to try to play the interview. Why don't I do the interview first?
Okay.
See if I can make it play. And boom. Let's see here. Share the screen. Which one is? Nope. Yep.
Okay, that's the one. Yeah.
Mr. Aidan Kearney, aka Turtle Boy. It's what, 12:30, noontime, whatever. A lot of people are saying should have happened by noontime. A lot of people thought it was going to happen on Monday. Somebody said Wednesday afternoon. What's your inside scoop?
I got nothing. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm thinking 5 after 5 tonight, so they get it on the 6 o'clock news.
All right.
I don't know. What are people saying? You've been walking, talking to people. What are they saying to you about what they're?
Ask them the same question you just asked. I'm giving them the same answer. I have no idea.
Everybody has no
There's
idea.
nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about. They're just walking around doing nothing. So,
Okay. What do you think? How about this guy? What do you think about this guy?
Great guy.
Mr. Murphy? Good guy.
I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for this guy, Karen would probably be in jail right now. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You know what? A lot of people are saying that.
And he knows my
That
history.
has
I do.
that, and we talked about this briefly the other day. But that, as you look at this crowd, this is a national, if not a worldwide story.
Yeah.
That has to play in your stomach and on your mind that if you didn't do what you did, she could be sitting in jail somewhere, or
She
who
would
knows?
be in jail, but she would be have a lot less money. Let's put it that way. A lot less supporters. So I think that's the part I've done is just spread awareness, put a spotlight on this. That was my job, So, but her lawyers are the ones that kept her out of jail. Not her herself. She's a very active defendant.
Right. But the media activity didn't hurt.
No, it helped. It helped. So,
Yep.
because look at all the people back here. All these people donated their money. But who do you think's paying for ARCA? Who do you think's paying for Dr. Laposada? That stuff costs money, and that's the part that we play. We all these people out here, across the world supporting Karen have enabled her financially to put on an appropriate defense against the government, which has unlimited resources. That's the job we did. We didn't write the pleadings. We didn't, you know what I mean? The lawyers are basically working for free, but we gave her the finances to be able to get lunch every day. You know what I mean? To be able to fly her team here, to be able to put them in hotels. This costs money. You know, criminal defense isn't cheap.
Okay, my last question, and 3 people have said it to me already. Karen walks free today. Should the Commonwealth then look to see who the real perpetrators of the activity were?
Yeah, but don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath.
But then you have an unsolved murder.
Think they care? Think they care?
Murph, what do you think on that? Get over here.
No, they don't care. They don't care.
They're part of the problem.
Yeah. Why would they do that? They're going to call her O.J. Simpson. They're going to call her Casey Anthony. They're going to blame me. And they're going to blame me. They're going to blame Turtle Boy's fault. Everything was fine until we got involved. And you know what? You're right. Everything was fine for them. For them. Until I got
for them.
But it wasn't so fine for Karen, John O'Keefe.
I think.
Anyway.
Okay.
I'm going to go for
Can
a
she
walk.
get a fair
Go.
trial on this?
No. Okay, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, let me get rid of that. Let me get that. There, that was. Can you hear me, Eric?
Yeah, I hear you
Yeah,
fine.
go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, there's an example of the new media that I put that on, and it's probably got 500 views by now. I put one on this morning, and it had 15,000 views by noontime. So that's what people are getting their news today. That's how people are disseminating. The big guys for TV are the molasses people, because we're beating them. We're beating them.
When you like to your earlier point about the expense of having all those people there, and yet you could walk up, turn your unit on, be live, and have this stuff out there before they even think about doing it. And I'm not sure we have, other than Willie. Willie does a great job of popping up. I'm not saying that just because he's in the audience, but he feeds a lot of people a lot of information. And I think some of the manufacturers have some good streaming channels, or they post their stuff to YouTube, but I don't see the immediacy that you showed with that video, and being able to just stop people on the street, talk to them, present the story, no script, nothing. So to our fans, have you seen anybody who's doing stuff like that in the RV or the camping industry? I think we're still stuck with newsletters and daily posts and the stuff that we get from RV Biz. So we wait for RV Business or RV Pro or RV News to post some stories. But do we have a trailblazer in the RV and camping outdoor industry? Because John, you know this guy, or you've met him recently. Tell us about his background and how he jettisoned himself into this national.
Okay. So here's the deal. He was a history teacher in Worcester, and his mother was on the school committee, and so he got a job as a teacher, and blah 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 blah, and then started this blog, if you will, called Turtle Boy. Now, the answer to that question of where's the Turtle Boy, there's a statue behind City Hall in Worcester of a turtle. I don't know why, but it's right across from Notre Dame Church, used to be. And he just called himself Turtle Boy. So he started doing things like bringing a cell phone to Walmart and taking pictures of people at Walmart that kind of like went viral, where these people were, put it this way, Bob, they probably shouldn't have been anywhere near spandex.
Mm-hmm.
Just to, crazy people at Walmart. And then did some stories of people who, got off on a speeding ticket when they were doing 80 miles an hour in a 20. And then he tracked them down and find out that it was the son or daughter of a state rep or something like that. And was doing primarily Worcester stuff. And then he needed more dirt so he added Fall River and New Bedford and Lowell and Lawrence. You know,
There's a lot of dirt there. Yeah.
Yep, 4 high crime areas. Burnside Fountain. There you go, Burn. There you go. Well, we can always count on Walter. But what I'm saying is, this Karen Reed
Walter
story was old and wasn't going anywhere. The Boston stations weren't picking up on it, and he just started nosing around and saw stuff didn't quite match. And then he didn't have a big enough audience on his own, so some of the mainstream media talked about him, and then he got more people, and then he did more on his own, and then it was a gradual building. It was a gradual building, because in my first interview with him a couple days ago, he said, I figured if I worked hard enough, I'd get my break. But the reality is, a lot of people build themselves up gradually in their career, but he went like this and exploded.
Yeah, what did you say? He started in 2013?
2011.
2011.
Yeah.
And just kind of, like you say, he just kind of went along, did his thing, and now he's got his break. What do you think will come of it for him?
Well, he's already got a movie deal for this show, for this story, the Karen Reed story. Okay, he's on with Howie Carr every day at 4:30. I don't think he gets paid for that, but now what'll happen is the national media will have to talk to him.
Right.
The national media has an attitude that everything that they do is right, and the local people don't know anything. Here's a case where the local people were doing so much better of a job reporting than the national people, and so something big is going to happen. He won't have to go into Walmart's with a cell phone anymore. But at the same time, when you are snooping around police records, you make enemies, and he spent 60 days in jail because they said he was intimidating witnesses. He would call up these people that were were at the house on the night of the murder, and call them up separately, and then their stories never meshed, and they got him for witness intimidation. Spent 60 days in jail.
Didn't know that.
Yep. And the other gentleman that I talked to, Peter Murphy, the retired sergeant from the Canton Police Department, told me in no uncertain words, my wife said, does he really mean to say that? Because she saw the video. I haven't posted it yet. He said he has gotten threats from members of his own police department that he used to work, saying, Pete, don't be hanging around town. Don't go to so-and-so's funeral. Don't be seen publicly. Because I know it's hard for people from the other parts of the country to believe, but there is corruption in state government, and it's a small amount, but it has, a small stone thrown into the water makes large ripples. And, hey, look, Somerville's a dummy. You could probably tell us more stories than I could.
I haven't listened to Howie for a while, and I should, because he's on radio down here. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I got to get back to listening to him, but he's been all over. We've had some issues in Massachusetts with the state police, and 99% of them are fantastic and do their job. It's like everything else. There's some bad people around there and out there, but it looks like Turtle Boy has hit the jackpot with this one, unless they decide to boycott him. But it's going to be very difficult to do, because it's out of the bag, right?
It's out of the bag. You can't boycott him now.
Yeah.
You can't boycott him now, and he is a national figure. I mean, it was just on the ABC News at 6:30. They finally sent somebody up, but he's been on Court TV many times, and
well, you posted a video today. Didn't have much audio, but you just focused on him, and there were lines of people, and you filmed for,
about 4 minutes. Yep.
Yeah, and it was people standing in line
To take
to
a
get
photo.
picture taken, have a picture taken with him, and it was like a Hollywood celebrity.
He is a local hero, and he loves every second of it. Look at media today. The reporter is also the star, and they just don't have the same egos as some of the people. When they've made it to the network, and I can
Walt,
say this now, but
well, Walter says he has his own legal problems. Are you referring to the time he was in jail,
oh,
Walter?
right. And he said to me he's got several more trials coming. Several more trials coming.
That he's going to cover and do investigative reporting on?
No, that are suing him because of what he's already done.
Oh.
Yep.
That'll be
So,
interesting.
Walter probably knows more than me. I mean, I just talked to him last week.
Walter knows everything.
He does. And if he doesn't know it, he has a way to those magic fingers to get that keyboard
Put
going.
it up within 5 minutes. He'll put it up for the rest of us to enjoy.
Yep. And speaking of Walter, let's see if I can turn this around and show.
Speaking of Walter,
can I do this? No, it won't. I'm using that the thing that Walter gave us down in Florida last year, that you put your laptop on and tilt it.
oh yeah, the aluminum
Yeah.
rack. Yeah.
Walter, thank you so much. I use it all the time.
I do too.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Special thanks to Walter and Donna for that. What were we saying?
Well, we've gotten off on the legal problems, but Walter says civil and criminal. Hell, they'll make a movie out of him too. Maybe they'll add that on to the end of his movie.
Yeah, I don't know what the criminal stuff is, Walter. What is go into more detail with that? You know more than me. Hey, control that dog.
Yeah, tell him to keep his dog quiet.
Control that dog. It's our new neighbors with their new dog.
Doesn't he know who we are?
Yeah, I know it.
Does he know you're on television?
Yeah, no, there was a dog that just walked by, and this dog barked. This dog was one of those black Labrador.
So if we go back to the topic at hand, one of the issues, and Dante mentioned that he hasn't seen anybody do what you did, and look at where it is in the RV industry. A lot of dealers try to do streaming, but they haven't had the right training in it. So the lighting isn't good, or the microphones aren't good. It's sporadic. You don't know. There's nobody that I tune into every day to see what they're doing. Well, I take that back. There is one that does exceptional job. Guy's name is Andrew Steele, and he does only high-end Prevost and bus conversions. He works with the motor coach company in Bradenton, Florida, and he will do quick hits on a new unit that's come in on trade, and then he'll do a full-scale, like a 1-hour review of these luxury coaches that were $1 or $2 million 5 years ago that you can pick up for $600,000 now. Granted, that's not in everybody's ballpark, but his videos are good. The sound, the lighting, the professionalism, the test drives. I look for his videos now. Not that I'm going to buy one, but that is one that I can recall in the RV industry. The others I tend to take once RV Business publish, or one of the newsletters publish them, then I'll check out the video that they have. But I think it's a world of opportunity in terms of streaming for the RV industry.
Yep, no question.
Dante, the Mercedes-Benz dealer in Scarborough, Maine, does an exceptionally good job with videos. Yes, that's Brandy Lawler, who is the general manager up there and a member of NERVDA, and they do a very good job with what they've done, and they are consistent. They tend to have them on a regular basis. Multiple charges associated with witness intimidation for the region. Okay, so that's what John was. John was referring to.
Calling it witness intimidation, but he was just calling to ask questions. Where were you that night? That type of thing. And again, because the reality is this, and it's been proven now. Well, it's been alleged, pretty much alleged, is that the powers that be in the town of Canton run the police department, and so they can have these people arrested, and then the courts charge them with witness intimidation when it's just nothing more than following up as a news reporter.
Good journalist. That's right. It's journalism the way it's supposed to be done. Randy Murray just joined him. You didn't apologize for being late, but if you want to see the power of streaming video, John does a lot of videos sometimes that you guys might not see. But if you don't know anything about Randy Murray, let me show you Randy Murray.
Go ahead.
What do we got here?
We got a little bit of pulled pork going. About 40 pounds of pork in the smoker right now.
Ooh, how long's that been in?
I went in about 6 o'clock this morning, so she's just starting to get rolling really good right now.
And when will that be ready?
I am hoping it's going to be ready for about 5 o'clock tonight, but you never know when you're barbecuing.
Okay, because this is an electric one.
This particular one here is actually, I've had this smoker for about 15 years. It's a Smokin' It smoker out of Ohio. It is electric because electric is very consistent. And if you can't watch your smoker all the time, a smoker like this where you can set the temperature and let it go, it does a great job.
You do put wood in it?
I do,
right?
Yep. I've got wood chunks, like right here.
Wood chunks.
I use... Okay. So this weekend I'm using maple and pecan, okay. And I put one of those chunks in.
Pecan is expensive, not pecan.
Pecan when you're from New England.
Yeah, pecan if you're a high end.
Right. Thanks, John.
And how long? How many of those will have to go in there?
I gotta put about one every hour and a half, give or take.
One little cube.
You don't want too much smoke. Too much smoke makes it bitter. Too much smoke will actually ruin it. You just want a little bit of smoke to kiss
Open that baby up again. Let's just see where that other. Oh, whew. Hold on. And you just throw it.
Smoke boxes right here.
Right in there.
Yeah.
Okay, man. There we go. So if you always want to know how pulled pork is smoked, there you go.
That smoker has done a lot of pulled pork.
Have a great day, everybody.
That's interesting. And he's got it sitting right next to what looks like a Brinkley fifth wheel.
That interesting.
Being electric, is that,
That was a Brinkley rally.
At the Brinkley rally.
Yeah. That wasn't a Brinkley product, but that was a Brinkley rally.
Oh.
Down at
Normandy Farms?
Normandy Farms.
Actually, speaking about Normandy Farms, there is a Grand Design rally this weekend. I talked to Uncle Bernie earlier today, and he's down there doing some videos and stuff, and we're going to have some of that for you next week. But there is a Grand Design rally, and Campers Inn is, I think this one Campers Inn is sponsoring it. The other one was Brinkley that sponsored it, and Pete's RV supported them, and Randy did the cooking and that was the one. Actually, that same rally. These guys don't just sell RVs. They do a lot more, and Randy was doing the smoking for the briskets. But if you showed up at breakfast time.
So we are here at Normandy Farms. We're with our friend Chad from Pete's RV. And Chad, normally when we see you at an RV function, you're sitting behind a counter, you have a tie on, and people are coming up to you looking for a signature.
That's right.
This is an RV show. It's a little bit different. And today you're behind the omelet station.
I am the cook at the Brinkley and Brews today for breakfast. That's what we are at Normandy Farms here.
Brinkley and Brews.
Yes.
Okay, so that means there's.
Are you close?
We are not. Are you on yours?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us about this.
You had the ham and cheese, right?
Ham and cheese.
Yep.
It's the first one of these up in New England.
Yes. This is the first opening time for
You
it.
got about 30 Brinkley products here?
I think we have 25 campers, and then there's a small Brinkley display. There's probably 35, 40 Brinkleys here this weekend.
Yep. And you've been selling the product at least 5 or 6 of your locations.
Yeah, we have.
This is special. Why are you here? Why are you, Chad Shepard, here with retail customers? Because a lot of times in the business, that once the sale is made, you don't hear from the dealer again.
Yeah. No, we're here to support the team and get everybody moving in the right direction. If people need help, we're here to help. So it's been a great time, and it's our first one. So we're going to make sure we're here to make sure it's successful.
And you felt it was important for you physically to be here.
Yeah, we have an events director named Megan, and she's wonderful, and give her all the support we can.
So she's chatting up the people.
Yeah, and plus it's just fun in general too.
And you're cooking the eggs.
Yeah, we did a cookout last night, burgers and hot dogs. We have pulled pork today. We got a lot of stuff going on.
Understand you have a celebrity chef for the pulled pork. Is that true?
Yes, it is. It's Randy. Randy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
World famous pork cooker. Yeah. Randy is a special guy for cooking, that's for sure.
So we don't want to take any more time because we know you're trying to break eggs.
Yeah, right.
And but you don't have to write any deals today because the deals are made. These are the dealees.
This is easy.
Right. Okay. There we go. Thanks so much, Chad.
You got it. Thank you, guys.
So maybe we should have done Chad first and Randy second. But that's the power of streaming and using the video the way that you've been able to use it in support of, what we do at NERVTA, but also in your own consulting business and your own clients. And what is it going to take to get somebody to really break through in the RV and outdoor hospitality space?
They should have broken through by now because there's no barrier to entry. It's not like you have to buy a $5,000 camera. It's not like you have to go out and get a studio set up. I mean, we're doing this show right now. I'm sitting on my deck. The scary thing about sitting on this deck is that in 2 days from now is the days start getting shorter. So I know
we start going back downhill.
Right. When we go in September, I can't get the whole show done out from the deck. Can only do half of it. But Walter's a technology guy. What we did today at the Karen Reed Show, what so many people did at the Karen Reed Show, it's mind-boggling.
Well, not the show. It'll soon be the show, the trial. Right.
Trial. Yep. But you know what? The law is a show. And I'm not a lawyer, and I don't play one on TV, but when I watch those closing arguments that Alan Jackson presented, even if you were for the other side, he presented them theatrically so well that you were forced to believe him.
Yeah. What does Walter mean by this?
Oh, yeah, the big stall. I don't know. What do you mean by that?
I don't know, because right after Randy's comment about joining us.
Yeah, right. Maybe you meant the big stove or something.
Andy says always follows up with a call after viewing. He's talking about in Mercedes how they use it, so they know when somebody has viewed it. You're right, and then they follow up because it's another form of prospecting. It's another form of cold calls, but the customer has taken the first step. That's the other thing that I think a lot of people miss. And, John and I have strong sales and marketing backgrounds for 30, 40, 50 years. Is this a lead? And that's just another form of a lead. And are they monitoring it? Are they collecting the data on the people that do it? And then are they following up and communicating with them? And a lot of salespeople think, well, if they did that, then they're ready to buy tomorrow. So they make one phone call. And the person doesn't buy. No, it's only a license to get them into your CRM system or your database management system, and then start to nurture the lead. And it might be 3 years, but don't waste it with just one phone call and do nothing with it. And you can certainly incorporate streaming into that. In fact, you can take it a step further. I do see this on the high end, like with the Prevost bus conversions. Buddy Gregg in Tennessee used to do it for years with Bluebirds, where they actually do the demonstration, the first demonstration live with the streaming live video where they go through. Andrew does that on a lot of Andrew Steele on a lot of his videos, where they show you and explain. It's just like you're sitting in the showroom, but you're home, so you can go through 10 of those in a couple of hours at home to qualify and disqualify a couple of products or campgrounds that do it. I'd like to see the campgrounds do more instantaneous streaming. They do a good job of telling you what their activity schedule is for the week, or they might post a couple of pretty pictures during the week, but why not post while the activity is going on? If you were here this weekend you could participate in the hot dog eating contest, whatever.
But use video from last year's hot dog eating contest, because you say hot dog eating contest and you draw a picture of it. But if you see actual kids eating a hot dog, or adults eating a hot dog, or, a blueberry pie contest, and they have their face in the pie.
Yep.
There's so much more visually. But the thing that I've found is that the vast majority of campgrounds don't do that because it takes work. And too many campground owners, at least in New England, are working in their campground instead of on their campground.
Right. They are every day from sunshine to sundown, sunset. They're doing everything, and they need to
grow that way. You can't grow
that. Yeah.
You need to get out of the campground and mentally, hire somebody to do that. But that's the way it is. At the same time, it's so nice that we've got, like last week we were up at Pine Acres. What a phenomenal campground. And the pride that the family has in it, that their 65th anniversary, I think. 60th anniversary, something like that. But, the thing is, there's new ways to market, and there's new ways to reach people, and there's new ways to say thank you to people. And I don't think in the in the RV camping combination industry, we thank our current customers enough.
I think, you and I have spoken several times at the Northeast Campground Association meeting.
Yep.
And that's the Association of Private Campgrounds in the Northeast.
Yep.
City University is the executive director. And we've spoken there, and one of the hints that we gave somebody, God, it must have been 4 or 5 years ago, and I don't think anybody's done it yet. But imagine that you've been at a campground for a week, spent a couple of $1,000s, you had a great time, the kids had a great time, and you leave and they say goodbye. Why not a day later, the next day, you look into the camera and you thank the XYZ family for coming. I know the kids had a great time with the tie-dye t-shirt and what have you, so we hope that you'll come back and visit, a minute, 2 minutes on a video, and email the video to them and say, give it that personal thank you approach to what it does.
And you know what? And to say thank you, here is a 10% discount on next year's booking, same weekend. Okay, so you got to give up 10%, but you got bookings, for the next year. I mean, and it costs you nothing to do it.
Right.
It's not like you got to have a big brochure printed or anything like that. I mean, you just go into your cell phone, you know the names, and it might be difficult to note that the kids were involved in the activity.
That's true. They might have to register for an activity or something.
Right. Hope you had a good time here this weekend, and that's that.
Or how about on a Saturday or Sunday, you put somebody in a golf cart with a video camera, and you drive around and show other people how much fun people are having in your campground, waving to them, showing the activities that you've done. Take 2 minutes and run around and go live and do it live while they're right there, while the people are there.
Yep. Exactly.
What other ideas do you guys in the audience there have that RV dealers or campgrounds could do to improve their
relationships?
With relationships, but by using streaming videos. I mean, if you look behind my head, you can see all the major outfits that are doing it, and it's obviously working for them based on the CNBC study. It's out there. It's not going to decrease, that's for sure. When you look at the lowered cost of entry that everybody has on that, and everybody's got a phone in their pocket, and they know how to take pictures, but take some videos, and you'll see that they mentioned the decline in broadcast. Broadcast has declined 21%. Cable viewing has declined 39%.
Wow.
From 4 years ago. Yeah, from from 4 years ago.
Yep.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's that. But it
Was there anybody else streaming the way you were from
there were
Camden, Mass?
there were probably hundreds of them, but I only knew the major ones like LTL Media and the Young Jerks, and there's a lot of people that were tied strictly into this trial.
The Young Jerks.
Young, that's their name, JURKS. They have a YouTube channel with 15,000 subscribers. The guy was just.
How old are the Young Jerks?
It's interesting. It's plural. It's one 40-year-old guy. I don't know. His name's Mike Crawford. I don't know. But see, he doesn't have sponsors. Down below on his screen, it says, to support this show and have more, please consider a donation. Hit this app. That's the thing you and I talked about briefly last night. So the Young JURKS on YouTube. They broadcast live. So there was that. There was one other thing. I know. While I was waiting for the verdict today, I noticed there's a young lady next to me with a badge on that said Channel 12 in Providence. And I know I have a friend who works there. And I said, you know, so-and-so? And she said, yeah. I said, give him my card. And I asked her what she does. She said, I'm an online news producer. She's not even on TV, but she works for a TV station, and she produces segments for WPRI.com, Channel 12 in Providence. That's it.
For the website.
For the website and for the
social media.
Right.
Completely separate from what people would traditionally think about from a television station.
Right. They would think that they just take the segments from the TV talent and chop them up and put them online. Interesting, at 8 o'clock tonight, ABC is doing a special show on the Karen Reed thing. And Matt Gutman was there today, but that's his first time there. He's going to host an hour-long show on ABC tonight without ever have being there. So we'll see how that works out. At the same time, Court TV is doing another show at 8 o'clock live. And, it's just the way it is. It's not wait until the 11 o'clock news anymore. Chop up those messages into small segments and send them out.
So you find the outlet that is comfortable, and you look at the news when you want to look at it. You look at the subjects that you want to look at, and you narrow it down to yourself. Now, interesting enough, it's these people are also collecting a lot of data at that time, especially the online people. They know when you are on there. They know how long you've been there. They know 8 out of 10 videos are fly fishing, and you get fly fishing, you're going to see ads for that. But that whole aspect of driving business to your business through the data analysis of the people who are buying products similar to yours that may or may not be doing business with you, that's a big field. It's a really big field.
It's amazing. You know what? Having information about the people that buy from you makes it easier to know what they want. And, you walk into a car dealership because you already have a Sorrento, they should know enough not to sell you or try to sell you a Soul.
Right.
Type thing. But people don't use it. There's so much data that's out there available today. And especially in the RV industry, by buying all these lists, they can find out that Mr. and Mrs. Jones own a 43-foot diesel pusher. Okay. But Mr. Jones is getting old and doesn't want to drive it anymore. So why not try to sell them a 24-foot Class C?
Right. Get the same luxury, but in 24 feet instead of 45 feet.
Yep. A lot easier to drive, a lot easier. And
yep. I had a call this week, a interesting call from a company that is developing a new software package for RV dealers. I think most people understand the terms of customer relationship management, CRM systems, dealer management software, and what have you. This is the first system that I know of in our industry that was built from AI up, not trying to make an existing one adapt to Chat GPT or something else. I'm going to get a full demo on it next week. But what it does in terms of data collection and the automation that it puts in there for the sales manager and the salespeople, it's very exciting to see what they're bringing to the market. And there's one major mega dealer who is already using this product with great success. Now they're going to open it up to other dealers. When a lot of companies have products like that, they get a hold of John and I, and we do an analysis of it, and we look at it, we give them the comments and the commentary. But this is one that you certainly will be hearing about soon.
Cool.
On that. So that brings us right about to 8 o'clock. As I said, it looks like next week we're going to be doing the Grand Design Rally and talking to the people there, and maybe get a little film clip from Don Clark. I don't see any last minute comments, so we will catch up to you next week. Any closing comments, John? And great job in Boston this week. I enjoyed watching your streaming videos when they
got
came
a lot
up.
more to edit, but I think I'm going to sleep. I don't think I'm going to edit. No, I got to watch those shows now. I'll edit it. I'll wake up at 4 a.m. and edit then.
That's a good time to do it. I'll check in to see if you're still up. Yeah.
It's a special thank you to all of our viewers, and we appreciate your presence on Wednesday night because they are presents to us.
All right. See you guys next week. See you down the road.
This edition of RVing in New England was a presentation of the New England RV Dealers Association. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.